Hey folks, Kilt-Man here. Kilt-Man at your services. How are you all? I hope you're all doing very, very well on this Freedom Friday. Yes, they come round really quick, don't they, these days? A Freedom Friday. And I've got to really cram this in because I've got a very, very busy weekend ahead of me. Starting in an hour's time because I'm going to the ballet. No, I'm going to see Ballerina. Yeah, Ballerina from the John Wick world. Can't wait for that. And then after that, a few drinky poos. And then after that, it's Predator, Killer of Killers. And I'll be reviewing both these movies, Ballerina and Killer of Killers, forthwith throughout the weekend. Although I've got stuff lined up for both Saturday and Sunday as well, including a dinner party. Isn't that right, Marcus? Yes, a dinner party tomorrow afternoon. Lovely. In sunny Southport. Anyway, enough of all that preamble. Some of you may have seen Dracula, A Love Tale from Luc Besson. The teaser / trailer dropped for it yesterday. And I did a video on this quite some time ago, outlining my fears and woes and also pointing an accusatory finger at Luc Besson. That crepe-eating crapmeister from Paris. For what was obviously going to be a shameless rip-off of Bram Stoker's Dracula, as in Francis Ford Coppola's Bram Stoker's Dracula. Not Bram Stoker's Dracula as written by Bram Stoker himself, which is here, evidence that I will provide to you from this book itself. Yes, this book by Bram Stoker, a classic, gothic masterpiece of horror, mystery, exotica, mysterioso, and doomed tragedy. Right, Dracula, A Love Tale. Luc Besson, he of Subway. I like Subway, especially the foot-long meatball sandwich. Atlantis, The Messenger, obviously La Femme Nikita, and what's it called, Leon. Yeah, but he also did The Fifth Element, and a lot of other shit as well. So I like some of his earlier films. I don't like the vast majority of what Luc Besson's done. And he really, really pissed me off with what he said about this production. This is what he said last year, which he'd begun filming it already, and he was quite proudly talking about this. And he got the star from his previous movie, Dogman? Was it Dogman or something like that? I don't know what the guy's name is, don't really care. But you can tell, oh, this won't be biased at all, will it, Kilty? No, I don't care. It's my channel, my show. There's too many captains on this island, and master and mate, and I'm cabin boy on this cruise. Right, Besson said this. He's focusing on the tragic romance side of the book for his adaptation. The tragic romance side? Come again, what? In the book, it's in James V. Hart's screenplay for Francis Ford Coppola's movie, A Doomed Tragic Romance. Yeah, it's not in the book. But anyway, I was drawn to the love story. When you read the book, this is what Besson said, when you read the book, that's that book there, for me the most interesting part is this man who's going to wait for centuries and centuries because he wants to see his wife again. So for me, it's the ultimate love story. No, is there a love story in there? Psst, tell me. No, there isn't. There's no fucking love story in there. Unless it's talking about Jonathan Harker and Mina. Yeah, perhaps there. Or Lucy Westenra and her potential suitors, which will be Quincy P. Morris, Lord Arthur Holmwood, and who's the guy? Dr. Stewart. Yeah. They've just got the hots for it. There's no romance there at all. Oh, might it be the brides of Dracula who seduced Jonathan Harker in his unfortunate sojourn in the Carpathian Mountains? There's no romance. There's no love story. There is no long-lost love. But no, Besson, who's your tour guide through this majestic tale of gothic excess and wonderful romantic side to a torn, villainous character. Besson's take on a classic. Besson has framed Bram Stoker's classic novel as a love story. Okay, that's saying that you're adapting it as a love story. That's fine. Following Dracula as he connects with a woman in Belle Epoque Paris, he resembles his beloved wife Elisabetta, who died in mid-15th century Transylvania. Per legend, Bram Stoker created Dracula. There's no legend it's based on. Oh yeah, Prince Vlad of Wallachia, yeah, and all that, yeah, Vlad Tepes. I've discussed all this many times before. There's no documentary solid evidence that Bram Stoker based any of that on Vlad Tepes. He did read up on it, but all the Dracula scholars out there have agreed that there's no concrete evidence that that's what he based it on. We like to think that now, especially with Christopher Lee looking just like the aristocratic Vlad the Impaler. And he does look just like him, he does. Per legend, it was Elizabetha's suicide that led Romanian ruler Prince Vlad III, the real-life inspiration for Dracula, to forsake God and embrace life as a vampire. It's not in this. Not in this at all. I'll tell you what it is in. It's in Bram Stoker's Dracula from Francis Ford Coppola, written by James V. Hart. It's in that version. It's a totally romantic approach, Besson says of his adaptation. There's a romantic side in Bram Stoker's book that hasn't been explored that much. Once again, I take you to the pages of the book. A romantic side? Oh, maybe it's on the back side. No, is it on the side of the side? No, there's no romantic side. I can't see, I can't smell a romantic side at all. You're talking Merde. It's a love story about a man who waits 400 years for the reincarnation of his wife. That's the true heart of the story, waiting for an eternity for the return of love, says Besson, leaving it open on whether the woman that Dracula meets is a reincarnation or not. Zoe Bleu, daughter of actress Rosanna Arquette, who is not on the set that Deadline visits, this is from a Deadline interview, plays Elizabetha and their 19th century alter ego, Mina. Other cast members include Italian actress Matilda De Angelis as Mina's best friend, as well as Christoph Waltz, who plays a vampire hunting priest, apparently. Now, Christoph Waltz, we all loved him in Inglourious Basterds and Django Unchained. And then he kept on making these weird, nuanced characters, which had just become a pantomime of his abilities. And I can't stand the sight or sound of him these days. I'm really totally lambasting this on it. I haven't even seen the film yet, but I have seen the trailer, which we'll talk about. But Christoph Waltz now, oh God, Spectre and the architect of all your pain. Just fuck off. Absolute shitebag. Right. Oh yeah, it does say Christoph Waltz as a vampire hunting priest who is on Dracula's tail. He's trying to capture Dracula, but will he succeed, says Besson of Waltz's character. The action moves between time and the settings of Dracula's castle in Romania's Transylvanian mountains and Belle Epoque Paris, which substitutes Stoker's original UK settings of Whitby and London. I didn't want to make a classic English movie with people drinking tea and saying indeed. They do drink tea, and they do. I think someone does say indeed. I've got a fairly strong conviction that even Keanu Reeves, bloody wolves chasing me through some blue inferno. John Wick, he is. Jonathan Harker, he ain't. I'm sure he says, indeed, it was the man himself, only grown younger. But if you're going to lambast him for his accent, then Winona Ryder as well as Mina ain't so hot either. Well, hot, but not so good on the accent. So, I didn't want to make a classic English movie, which you won't be, with people drinking tea and saying, indeed, explains Besson, imitating a plummy English accent. We've seen that a lot. I wanted a break with that. The Paris set scenes in the second part of the movie unfold in the lead up to July 14th, 1889, as the city gears up to celebrate the centenary of the French Revolution. Which one? There's been so many. Paris is partying, but a number of other things are happening behind the scenes as Dracula falls in love and risks capture, says Besson. The trailer was nothing but Francis Ford Coppola's Bram Stoker's Dracula. Everything about it. The overhead shots going across the bridge towards Castle Dracula. The prologue, of course, showing, almost mimicking exactly in the wonderful way that Coppola's version did it, with old-fashioned effects, marionettes and puppets against a blood-red background, marching against, the Romanian knights. These are obviously the vengeful Turks. And then you see bodies getting hoisted up against a blood red ochre tinted sky. You've got that. You've got that exactly. It looks the same. You've also got Dracula himself, played by the guy whose name I have not got there, but the guy from Dogman or whatever it's called. You've got him realizing that Elisabetta is dead, that he renounces God and it turns his back on humanity, and all his nights, I will be a vampire. Well, he doesn't say that, but that's what he's doing. Again, where's that in history? Nowhere, obviously. Where's that in Bram Stoker's book? Absolutely nowhere. Where is it again? Can you? Yeah, James V. Hart screenplay for, yeah, you guessed it, Bram Stoker's Dracula. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And then top hat, long hair, looking just like, with spectacles on as well, looking just like Gary Oldman, who Luc Besson loves. He always loved Gary Oldman in his movies. Gary Oldman is spectacular. But he said the same thing about this guy playing Dracula. Yes, the guy whose name I haven't got. You can look it up. And he said initially, I was drawn to this guy who made Dogman with me. But I did that because he was such a good, interesting actor. I wanted to make a film around him. And then I said to him, you're a very interesting guy. Do you want to play Dracula? So the Dracula story that he's come up with, because he's written it, Luc Besson's written this, is evolved around this actor. He's wanted to put this actor into this story, created this story for this actor. Running away with myself here, aren't I? Cheers, you all. Wojciech Kilar's monumental score for Bram Stoker's Dracula is playing, of course. You recognise it, you know it. So he's got the top hat, the long hair, the glasses, the suit, the saggy suit and all that. Like, you've got all that in the, what would be, the 18th century, early 19th century Paris. It's just the same friggin' thing that you got from Francis Ford Coppola, only I'll wager nowhere near as good. Nowhere near as flamboyant or as operatic. I'm not saying that Besson can't direct movies with panache and flair. See, I picked two French words there. Because he can. There's elements of The Fifth Element which I quite enjoy, but they're all visual. The actual story, I think, is utter pants, and he derails himself by being so over-the-top camp with it all. But just, that's it. The rug is pulled, and I've fallen through a black hole. And I'm happy to be down there. If coming up and surviving means enduring more of Luc Besson's phantasmagoria across the cosmos, count me out. This stinks. It absolutely stinks. The reason why I'm so, enraged by this is because of what he says. And there's other interviews too, where he cited Bram Stoker. He's basing it on Bram Stoker and the romance that's in the book. I've just categorically told you, for those of you that have read it, you know exactly there's no romance in there. There's romance in the Gothic term of a Gothic romance novel, which means adventure, it means brooding, it means dark intentions, thrills and chills. That's what Gothic romance actually means. It doesn't necessarily mean, a bit of French kissing and a bit of nookie and a bit of ooh la la. Doesn't mean that. But he seems to think that there's a big romantic angle to the story. And I'm going to focus on that, because these are the bits that no one else has bothered to do. Mainly because those bits aren't in the book. And those bits that you're referring to were created by James V. Hart. The Vlad the Impaler and fighting Turks, and the vengeful Turks being responsible for the suicide of his wife, and then him turning his back on Christianity and becoming a vampire because of that. That is James V. Hart. But Besson has very clearly done that in this movie. Well, that stinks to high hell, that does. No, heaven's high, hell's low, innit? It still stinks of Merde. So I am not impressed. Danny Elfman is doing the score. Love Danny Elfman. Danny Elfman, of course, aped a lot of Wojciech Kilar's score for Bram Stoker's Dracula for his score for The Wolfman from 2010. And that's a great, dark, brooding score. Elfman can do this sort of thing in his sleep. So I expect nothing but genius from Elfman. I'm not going to go into what some other people have said about the troubled lives of Luc Besson, personal life, and I'm not doing it. But someone did say, why isn't he using Eric Serra, his usual composer? Why has he gone for Danny Elfman? And they were trying to make illusions about the two people. I'm not going to do that. That is not true. I think he's gone for Elfman because Elfman has a rich taste in gothic verve, very symphonic, very orchestral, lots of bombast. He can do a lot of fun stuff as well, but I think the rich tapestry of this sort of story would appeal to Elfman, so that's why he's gone to him. So I think that'll work. So I'll be getting the score to it regardless. Kilty, will you see the film so that you can sit there and go like, my God, I actually really enjoyed that. That's not what I expected. No. No, folk, I'm going to see it. I'm going to see the film. I am not going to rush out day one unless I hear incredible, word of mouth from people that I trust, venerable sources, that this film's actually got a lot of merit to it. I'll wait till it's streaming, way down the line. But otherwise, no, I have no interest. And I've been really celebrating the fact that gothic horror cinema is back with a vengeance. I mean, we've got another Frankenstein, Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein, and that had a lot of similarities to Mary Shelley's Frankenstein by Kenneth Branagh. See what's happening here? You've had the likes of Bram Stoker's Dracula and Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, the film adaptation, Branagh, Coppola. And whether you like them or you loathe them, they seem to have shaped everyone's thinking about these stories and characters from that point onwards. Not a bad thing, especially in Branagh's case, because that really does follow the book quite well. It does add a little bit more, but it is a pretty faithful adaptation. I like it a lot, and I love Bram Stoker's Dracula, but it does deviate magnificently from the source material, so much so that you can't really call it. I mean, my umbrage with that is that you can't really call it Bram Stoker's Dracula. Just call it Francis Ford Coppola's Dracula. It's becoming a bit of a mantra, this, isn't it? Because all that prologue, that's not Stoker at all. It's not there. So the whole love interest and reincarnation is not there. Oh, should have said that. A reincarnation of his lost love, his former wife from centuries ago. That is James V. Hart. Mina Harker being a reincarnation. That's not in the... Where's the book? Where they put the book? It's not in the book. It's not in there. At the very least, it gives you a chance to play some great music and vent your spleen once in a while. It's always good to do that. And I don't do this very often, as you well know. I don't talk about films unless I want to talk about them. And in that case, I'm usually wildly enthusiastic, as you know. But sometimes this wouldn't bother me. It's only the fact that he's lying through his little French teeth, his French fangs. He's lying. None of what he said is in the book. So what the hell? This romantic side. I've been through it from side to side, up and down, backwards and forwards, round the back and up the elephant, round the castle. I've been round it. There's no romantic angle in it at all. There isn't. Only very tenuously. And it's not a reincarnation. There's no wife of Dracula. He's a vile, pestilent bloody being. Even the music's getting all worked up. A bit louder. Louder, louder, louder. Luc Besson. Luc Besson. Bring back the guillotine. Do it now. Fifth Element. I'll give you the fifth fucking element. Anyway, folks, I'm going to cut it short right now because I've got to go. I've got to go and watch balletic, bloodletting, gun fu with Ana de Armas. Yes. Oh yes. Bring it on, I say. So, folks, in the meantime, in this ever Luc Besson bashing in between time, please keep it kilty, keep it kilty, and I'm going to see you all. What's French for laters? Laters! With onions and garlic. But I'll be back with lots of reviews. Wow, it's going to be great. Hopefully. I had the score for Predator Killer of Killers. That dropped at midnight last night. And of course, I was there waiting to catch it. I got it from Benjamin Wallfish. And yeah, it's okay. However, the reviews for the animated movie are really good. I mean, not just, oh, they're good, better than expected. They're really good. But reserve your judgment for yourselves. I will speak later. In the meantime, just be yourselves. And watch out for those bloody wolves chasing you through some blue inferno.